Huh?
I presume that's got some kind of arm.
Yeah, well, we can go down here.
Yeah.
Remember I said to you?
Yeah, you ain't going to get to ask the questions around here. You might have to go right the way down the other end to do that. So, but there's a lot of media
I can also like
around here. That's fine.
go
Stand
around
up
with
here.
the megaphone.
Yeah, I think megaphone's a game. Yeah.
The satellite.
Oh yeah.
Here we are. It's a lovely spot here. Look, because of the view. You know, the background view. It's very nice.
I can ask some really.
The view's really nice.
Lovely questions while they're trying to do their stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
But first, want to try and maybe see if I can interview a few people before I get
I
there.
don't think you're going to get anywhere near that.
That's what I said to you. They blocked off.
Nah.
I said that, dude.
I think it's megaphone. I mean, what might happen is that the journal.
Yeah, of course they will.
Try and record it.
Really like
So,
sharp
that's
start
their
with some
problem.
people.
They've got mics on themselves. Just lock it there, it's fine. So here we are at the greatest queue in history, and it's moving pretty fast. That queue is moving pretty fast. Look at the speed. Look at the speed of it.
For our channel, for our YouTube channel. Would you like be able to just stop for a couple of minutes? Just ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, if you want it.
Okay, great. So, just first to explain that I run a channel for neurodiverse people. I don't know, do you know about neurodiversity?
Not really. No.
Okay, neurodiversity is people who have got different, they're not the normal, they don't have normal neuro pathways. So in other words, ADHD, people
My,
autistic.
My brother's got Cri-du-Chat syndrome. Is that kind of similar?
Yeah. So a lot of the people that watch my channel have got various types of neurodiversity, right? And it's very common that they have a lot of questions that most people don't ask that seem obvious to them, right? So my first question to you is this. Imagine your 96-year-old mother died, yeah? And you knew that thousands upon thousands of doctors and nurses all over the country were going to come to her funeral, and they were going to cancel appointments. That meant some people will suffer, some people will die as a result of it, and you knew that would happen. And the people that would come didn't know your mother at all. They just saw her on the telly somewhere, yeah? And if you didn't do anything about it, then that means that people would suffer and die. What would you do?
Oh, okay, so they're just approaching.
I don't know, this sounds too much like a bit of a political question for me, and I really don't want to get into that. I'm not involved in politics in any way or another. I just came down to pay my respects to the Queen.
Right.
So, thank you very much. So,
Okay,
take care.
thanks. Have a good day.
It's got a lot of medals. It's got a war injury as well.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to go and piss there. I can't use a toilet to piss there. And it's about 10 toilets there.
What's that?
You happy there? How long you been stuck there?
6:30 in the morning.
No, since when? Since this morning? Yeah. Where do they get all the people now who suddenly appear in these yellow jackets? Where'd you all come from? It's an agency. Oop. Look, someone's climbed up the grass. Oop. Oop. All these yellow people with jackets, they're all over the place. And they all seem to work for some sort of agency, I don't know what.
Oh, here we go.
That's it, that's what we need, a bit of that. That's what we want, a bit of Danny. A bit of true Danny, that's it. Oh, I want to get the other side just to get the palace and the view. So here we got journalist of our time, one of the first proper YouTubers in Britain, Mr. Danny Shine, and what is he going to say?
His 30-second meditation.
Well,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm here to, sorry about that, I'm here to warm you up as you stand here waiting for a very long time to go and see the Queen, or really Elizabeth, really, she's just the woman, really. I'm here to warm you up a little bit, you know, to get you thinking a bit. I must warn you that you are very likely to experience an anti-climax. After you have queued here for hour upon hour, you are likely to experience an anti-climax when you realise that there is really no point in standing here to go and see this woman.
boo! God save the King! God save the King!
I'm just warning you not to get too excited. You're just going to see a woman. You know, nothing's going to happen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whilst you're here, I wanted to ask you, if your mother of 96 years was to die, and you knew that thousands of doctors and nurses were going to her funeral, which would lead to the suffering and death of many people in this country, what would you do about it? Would you do anything? No, says that lady. It's a bit of an immature heckle, isn't it? And the other question I have is...
There's one works for the NHS, she said.
You work for the NHS? Are you going to be working tomorrow? Are you going to be working tomorrow, or are you going to neglect your duties? Ladies and gentlemen, whilst you're here, God save the King.
Hello, sir.
Hello. Great, thank you. How are you?
You don't need to talk to us through the megaphone.
No, it's
How's
fine.
life, all right?
Great, thank you. How are you?
Marvellous. I'm very well.
Good.
I'm very well. I'm not going to stop and tell you what to do,
Brilliant, thank
because
you.
we're not.
Fantastic.
All I would like to say is everybody has the right to their speech and has the right to say what they like.
Perfect.
For the last 4 days, it's been absolutely fantastic. Everybody's been in a really good mood,
Great.
and hopefully that's how it's going to stay.
Yeah, thank you very much. Here, absolutely.
But I'm never going to stop you saying what
Thank
you want
you.
to say.
Thank
Good,
you.
God save
Can I
the
ask
King.
you- can I just
Unless
ask
you
you
start
just-
saying derogatory
Yeah.
things, and
Yeah.
we'll have another
Absolutely.
chat, won't we?
Before you go, I just wanted to tell you what I was saying, and I
Okay.
just wanted to hear what your reaction would be.
I won't give a reaction to what you're saying.
Okay, you don't
Because-
have to, but I'll just tell you what I was
Okay,
saying, what I was
if
asking.
you wish to tell me, sir,
you don't
that's
have
not
to
a
give a
problem at all,
reaction,
but
but
I
you
will
can
not
if you
give
want.
you a reaction.
Okay, fine. What I was asking is, if your 96-year-old mother was to die,
Yeah.
and you knew that there were tens of thousands of doctors and nurses who didn't know your mother, but for some reason saw her on telly and were going to go to her funeral, and that would cause terrible suffering to thousands of people around the country who'd have their appointments and their surgery and their operations cancelled. You knew that, and that would cause the death of some. Yeah. What would you do about it? Would you do anything about it?
As I said to you before, I'm
Yeah.
not going to give you an answer.
Right.
because
What about you?
That's my private opinions.
Private.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. I get
All
that.
I
I
would
get-
say, sir, everybody has the right to
Yes.
free speech.
Absolutely. Thank you.
As
Thank
long
you
as
for protecting mine.
people don't overstep the
Yeah,
law.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
All I would say is we've had 4 days of a fantastic atmosphere.
Right.
Everybody's enjoying it.
Fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a funeral.
It is,
Right.
but the atmosphere within
Yes.
the crowd that's been
Yeah.
waiting to see Her Majesty's passing,
Right.
okay, along with ourselves, it's been a fantastic atmosphere.
Right.
It's a great
Okay?
funeral.
Right.
We would just like to keep it like that.
Okay. No
Okay,
problem.
sir?
So would we.
don't want to upset anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to upset anyone.
Thanks ever so
To
much.
G up the mood a bit.
Much appreciated.
So, hello,
Thank you.
sir.
Hello.
I'm from the Israeli television. I'm coming from Israel.
ישראלי, מה נשמע?
How are you doing?
מה הולך כאן? מה
אתה יודע
אתם
עברית?
חושבים? כן, בטח, מה אתם חושבים על
איך אתה
העניין הזה?
איך אתה יודע עברית?
אני למדתי הרבה שנים בישראל.
כן?
כן,
אבל אתה כאילו גרת בישראל?
כן, גרתי בישראל 3 שנים.
ומה אתה עושה?
Speak in English.
What do you do? What do you do for a living? Like, what do
For
you
a living, I breathe for a living.
Yeah, I know, but
I I answer questions in an obtuse way. So this is what I do for fun, a hobby. I have a hobby of creating cognitive dissonance in public spaces to question the narrative.
What do you do in your regular job? I mean, what kind of field do you...
I'm in the music business.
Oh, you're in the music business?
Yeah.
What's your name, sir?
Danny.
Danny what?
Danny Shine, nice to meet you.
Danny
What's your
Shine?
name? Yeah.
Mo'av.
Mo'av, nice to meet you.
Danny, why did you come to protest? Not to protest. Why did you come here to express these
I
things?
came here because there are many questions that I have about this whole.
Okay. Just a sec.
No problem.
Wow.
This whole event. What's that? This whole event.
This whole event, yes.
So celebration.
This whole celebration. Yeah.
Festive atmosphere. Great festive atmosphere.
Danny, let's stand here. Yeah, okay.
Go stand here, you can stand here.
I like the way you talk,
Oh, thank you.
Danny, so why did you come here to express these opinions?
Well, because I have a lot of questions about mainstream narratives of many things, and this is one of them, So, I have a question about, what kind of people... I don't have a problem with the actual human beings, so the Queen, Prince Charles, Prince Andrew even, I don't really have a problem with them as people, because I have to assume that if I was brought up like them, I would be exactly the same as them, including Prince Andrew and all the stuff he gets up to, right? So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the institutions that create that kind of thing, right? So for example, tomorrow, thousands of doctors and nurses are going to be taking off work to watch a funeral that they could easily watch on Zoom, yeah? We were told a couple of years ago we're not allowed to go and see our grandmas because we might cause someone to die, but them going to the funeral is completely unnecessary. They don't know the woman, and they're going to go to her funeral and they could watch it on Zoom or watch it after work. And the thousands of people in this country are going to have their appointments and their surgeries cancelled. That's just one example, right?
But maybe there is a significance for symbols, for something that is beyond the everyday life, right? I mean, what is your explanation to the fact that so many people feel so? What is your explanation as for the fact that so many people here in Britain feel so deeply?
Yes.
Something emotional to the Queen. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really good question, and I mean, in order for me to answer it, I'd have to really think about it. But off the top of my head, firstly, I think that's because I do think symbols and ritual are important. Yeah, and I think that there's so little of it around in our society anymore that they hang on to everything that they can. And I also think that the so-called royal family have spent a lot of money on public relations. And this whole thing is just a whole show, right? And so it's a public relations that's it's being pumped into their consciousness the whole time, all over the mainstream media, which and most of them have got no idea that they're being messed with, right? So that's why I think this is going on. Yeah, but and what they don't, and the thing is that the mainstream media, I don't know if you're part of it, but the mainstream media are not asking the questions. Like, for example, I think it's £652 million, the inheritance, and that's just what we know about, right? I'm sure it's much more than that, yeah? How come they don't have to pay inheritance tax, whereas I have to pay it on my £1.5 million father's £1.5 million property that I have to share between my siblings? I have to sell the house to get their money, or whatever it is, yeah? How come that is the case when we're in dire straits, when there are people, a third of the country are not going to be able to afford their heating bills? And meanwhile, we've got all this going on.
Because maybe the thing is that you judge it, that you judge the situation in very practical manners, very practical parameters. While for many people, it's beyond that. They're willing to pay taxes or whatever in order to have something that gives them the sense of something stable, something solid, something that like a rock solid thing that
there's
makes
nothing rock solid about it. It's all ephemeral.
What's solid? What is solid about these people? What have they actually done? What has the Queen done for all these people? What is the so-called? I mean, I don't want to call it the Queen because that's just for me, that's just a fairy tale. I mean, you're from Israel. Yeah, you're not so involved in this particular argument. Therefore, you think Queen. Israelis don't take the Queen seriously. Most of them, I would assume, right? So, what have they done for the people? Tell me, what have they actually done other than provide them with some illusion of stability? What is that nonsense? The world is.
So what the thing is about people are stupid? They're not.
Of course they are. People are stupid as hell, right? And people are by design are stupid because they're sent to special institutions that are designed to make them stupid. They're called schools, right? And then they're fed social media, which is that the algorithms are designed to make people stupid. It's not artificial intelligence, it's artificial stupidity. So if you take the average person, they're so stupid, and then you think how stupid half of the population are even more stupid than the average person, of course.
I can feel that you are very emotional about it. Why are you angry about it? Why does it make you so angry? Not really.
I wouldn't call it anger. It's kind of a bit of anger, a bit of passion. I guess part of me has has compassion for people, watching them being played, right, by the media, being played by the system. Basically, the whole idea of a queen and people having trillions of pounds, and all the people that mix with them, they're all billionaires and they're all corrupt as hell, and they're destroying the world. And Prince Charles, if he cared about the environment, why didn't he get his children to stop having children? Because that's the real cause of all the problems. Yeah. Why did he fly to Davos in his private jet? Right? He doesn't care about the environment. He just cares about us not using any electricity and energy, so he can carry on with his private jet and his yacht. Do you know how much it costs to pay for the petrol of a yacht? Yeah, it's like $10,000 per 3 kilometers. $10,000. Yeah, in just wasted. These guys, they've all got yachts. Come on, give me a break. And so I guess I feel, that we're all being taken for a ride, and these people are just all part of the problem.
How many are there? How many like you there are in Britain?
Well, I like to think not many, because
no. I mean,
I know.
Do you represent a very tiny minority, or there are like fairly amount of people that think the same?
I think there are a significant number of people that think the same, yeah? But there's so little space for expressing it nowadays. And because the social media algorithms are worked in such a way that we're put into bubbles, so most people don't even get to hear anything else. Everything's coming at you, think about it, right? The Queen, it's all there, boom, 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 she's wonderful, she's amazing. It's very, very difficult to oppose that in public, because people just get really like...
we in Israel, we have a president, right?
Yes.
And he is getting, in Israel, we have a president.
Yes.
In this kind of representative role. And he can serve for 7 years maximum. He cannot be re-elected. And then the parliament, another one being elected for president.
Yes.
The point here in Britain, with a monarchy, that you have someone from father to son to daughter to mother, that it keeps the same person in the position, and it makes some kind of continuity that in Israel or in any other country it doesn't happen. And the continuity might have strength, might have significance.
Do you want that then?
Right. I don't really understand what you mean by continuity. Continuity of what?
Someone who is here in good and in bad. In good times, in bad times, he has a perspective. He is kind of the grandmother of the company, of the nation. She serves the nation.
In what way? What way has she served me? What way has she served all the other people? In what way? What, having lunches with the King of Saudi Arabia? Is that serving me? I don't think so. I just don't understand in what way if this is all just a show. Come on. You can't take this seriously. You've got a brain. This is just a show. Just to keep the people, under nice control whilst everything falls apart, whilst the rich get richer and the poor get poorer and they can't pay their bills. Let's distract them and let them queue for a few hours to see
But maybe you're ignoring the human need for symbols, for kind of father role model.
You're right. I'm sure that there is a need for that, and that's why when I started. I think I said it. I don't know if I said it before I got the mic, but when I started, I said that because for whatever reason, modern society has sort of moved away from these symbols. The only symbols we have in modern society is bloody corporations and their stupid symbols, right? So yes, they might be crying out for this, but really, is this the best we can do in giving people symbols? Is this the best we can do in rituals? I can think of many, many rituals which are much better than this, right? This is just, what is this? It's so shallow, it's so devoid of meaning, it's so like fake. It's so fake because what's going on underneath, and no one's asking these questions. No one's asking the question about the environment. No one's asking the question about mass surveillance that is upon us. No one's challenging these corporations and all the damage so many corporations are doing, from the food industry to the pharmaceutical industry, the alcohol industry, the oil industry, and all the corruption and madness. No one's asking that because they're all part of it. They don't challenge it. The Queen hasn't. When did the Queen last challenge some of the hegemony and the misbehaviour of the major corporations? Google, for example. Yeah, the crimes that Google create. The stalking upon all of us. It's just madness. The level of crime that these, the food industry, McDonald's, killing people left, right, and centre. When does the Queen ever speak about that? Nothing. She'd just be having a cup of tea with the president here and there. What?
Do you get reactions in a kind of a hostile way?
Of course.
Give an example.
Well, I mean, someone, once took my megaphone and smashed it, right? Yeah, I mean, it depends on how belligerent I'm feeling at the time, and like today, for example, I'm trying to, be a bit kind to the people because as I said before, I don't, just like if I'd have been born in the Queen's family, I'd be like the Queen, or I'd be like Charles, right? And if I'd have been born in their family, in their situation, I'd probably be in the queue. So I'm trying to be kind to them. I don't have anything against them in particular, and just trying to sort of get people to think a little bit outside the box.
Danny, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can I have your telephone just to be in touch?
Yeah, sure. So what channel are you a part of?
Channel 11 in the public.
Oh.
The Israeli BBC.
Oh, okay.
Danny Shine.
Yeah, I've never done. Really?
Yeah, why not? If I do.
Thank you so much, Danny.
Nice to meet you.
I quite see this only.
There are silent people, but there are millions, but they're silent, they're not here, they're at home, sort of, or
Are you
on
from
Facebook.
London?
Yeah. Where are you from?
Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv. My daughter lives in Tel Aviv.
Right now? Oh my God!
She's a great singer, you might see her on the streets sometimes.
What's her name?
Adina Shine.
Back to the grindstone.
Yeah.
A bit too mainstream, the questions he's asking, they're obvious, isn't it?
No, I liked it. It's fair enough. No, it was fair enough.
I mean, that's how they ask, isn't it? They said it all.
Let me just meditate for a minute.
It's amazing them homicide police obviously say don't want to upset nobody today.
I know.
But maybe all the rest of the days they're happy to do it.
I know that happened at the beginning, and they got orders to change their attitude.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because the first arrest looked bad.
Oh, yeah.
And the liberal left complained, and then the head of the police.
I was wondering
said to them,
why, because I was here on Thursday.
"We
and they were
tolerate
fine with me."
demonstration."
Yeah.
What about the new commissioner, Mark something?
They just made this statement to the police, and then the police had to have a hands-off approach, as long as you weren't disrupting, I mean, how can you disrupt the,
So here's my question for you media guys. Why aren't you asking any decent questions? Eh? Where are you? You're all paid off by them lot, aren't you? You're all just doing it, you want to toe the line. You don't ask any questions. Like, why don't you ask the nation how they feel about the fact that the Windsor family, they're inheriting £672 million worth of dosh and stuff and properties, right? And that's the stuff we know about. How come they don't have to pay inheritance tax? Yet when my granny dies, I have to share her house with my 14 siblings, and I have to sell it off just to pay my 40% inheritance tax. What happened to that? How do they feel about that? Why aren't you asking why it is? I've got nothing against, by the way, any of the members of the royal family, so-called royal family. They're not royal to me, they're just people. I've got nothing against them because I've got no reason to believe that if I was brought up just like them, I wouldn't be exactly the same, including Andrew. I've got no reason to believe if I was brought up entitled, I'd end up any different to Andrew if I was in his situation. I've got nothing against them. What I question is, with you media lot, why aren't you asking a few questions about the whole institution, about the whole system, about the idea that one person can have trillions of pounds worth of stuff and 1 billion people can not have a pot to piss in? Why aren't you asking that? Eh? Why aren't you asking about where they got their entitlement from? I mean, what exactly is Charles, what's he good at? Is he got there by merit, or has he got there because he came out of some particular woman's womb? Right, and if so, what's that all about? Why aren't you asking any of those questions? You're not asking any of those, are you? Because you're all under the same thumb, the same bloody people. Because they've got shares in all the big companies, and what's it called? What's that place called? What's the big...
Vanguard,
BlackRock and Vanguard. We don't know who owns those shares in Vanguard, but I'm sure those guys over there got a few bob in there. And so they own you guys, and then you don't ask any decent questions. Why aren't you asking any questions about what the corporations are up to? Why are you all exactly the same? You're all saying exactly the same things. You're not asking any decent questions. What's happened to you guys? You've all sold out. A lot of you. You sold out. I don't blame you either, because if I was born in your situation and I needed to make a living, I'd probably also sell out. And I don't blame the people queuing up to see, I don't exactly know why you're here. I've just warned you, by the way, that there is a possibility you're going to experience an anti-climax after all this. Do you know what I mean? Queuing up for a bunch of hours and then just seeing a box with a flag on it, and you could have watched it on telly. You might be a bit disappointed when you realise that it really was a bit of a pointless exercise. Hello? Fair enough. By the way, feel free to put up your middle finger if you feel that's appropriate. Not everybody can do that, because not everybody's got a middle finger, but most people have. Where did this one family get the right to rule over everybody? I just don't understand it. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here on behalf of the neurodiverse community. We are a minority of people who have things like diagnoses of ADHD, which I've been diagnosed with, ODD, which I've also been diagnosed with. It's oppositional defiance disorder. People tell me what to do, I tell them what right you have to tell me what to do. Oh, you're busy. He's busy with the propaganda. No, I'll stop for you because you were very nice to me before.
Televisión Mexicana.
The majority of us are here foreigners, so we are not monarchists at all. We are from Mexican here, which is a republic which killed their monarchy. So can we interview you? Sure. Yeah. All right. All about the sold media. So basically, I guess you are Republican. Why do you think Britain would be better off as a republic?
I'm not a Republican. I don't fit into any boxes. I'm a skeptic. And I'm very, very skeptical about many aspects of our society. And I'm certainly sceptical about the monarchy because I have many, many questions, some of which I've been expressing already, which is how come a family of people who have no particular special, that at least in some countries they kind of vote for their figurehead, right? I mean, it's all a joke anyway, but here, how come one person can have all that property, all that power, and which is basically violence, which equates to violence? Yeah.
Let's stop it.
Sorry.
Put it wrongly. The microphone.
Oh, okay.
That's a big mistake by me.
Do you want me to start again?
Yeah, the same question. It's basically, are you a Republican, and why do you think Republic of Britain would be better than the United Kingdom?
Yes. What I said is I'm not knowledgeable enough to know what would be better, and quite frankly, I don't have the power to change it. So I'm not here to change anything. I'm here to provoke questions and to have a good time. And my questions are, what exactly is the monarchy doing for us? I think it's just they've got a fantastic PR department. They do have a PR department. I have a personal friend who worked in their PR department. And they're using their money to uphold this. Basically, it's really just a business, and they're very successful at it. And I'm not surprised they're doing it because I'd do it if I was brought up like them. Because that's how they've been brought up, yeah. But I have questions about it. Like for example, like I was saying before, tomorrow, tens of thousands of doctors and nurses are going to go to this woman's funeral. They don't even know her, yeah, and that's going to lead to suffering and death of thousands of people, hundreds of people at least. Yeah, it's going to be inconvenience for many, many people. Why would you allow that to happen? If my mother was to die, and I knew that would lead to the death, because people would come to her funeral who didn't even know her, I'd say, please don't do that. It's ridiculous. Yeah, but what this shows us is that the whole institution, and just like many institutions, the whole institution is morally bankrupt. Because nobody in this institution seems to see that as a problem. It's not the Queen, it's not her fault, it's not Charles's fault. None of them can help it. They've all been brainwashed and brought up in a certain way. It's the whole system that allows this kind of madness to happen, where we, the little pawns, we can't go and visit our grandmothers in hospital when COVID is going on because we might kill them. The chances of you actually killing someone if you go out to the shops or something. Yeah, we can't go to the shops because we might kill our granny. Yeah, the chance of that happening compared to the chances of doctors and nurses not taking up their appointments tomorrow, yeah, is minuscule. That will happen. People will die early. People will suffer tomorrow because of that madness. What for?
My other question will be, what the solutions would you say? Would you say more transparency, financial transparency for the royal family? Would you like to see sort of Swedish, Dutch, Norwegian model of the royal family? They are most advanced democracies on earth, and still they have their monarchies.
Yes, I mean, firstly, I don't have answers. I don't have solutions. I don't delude myself that I've got solutions to the world's problems. I don't know if anybody does. I've got ideas, and my idea would never be put into practice. But my idea, I think we need to call an end date to this system, yeah, and give an opportunity for humans to create, in small groups, to create some kind of different opportunities and different possibilities of how we can live together that doesn't involve capitalism, because capitalism is a self-destructive, suicidal system that is killing us all, right? And these people, these royals, are right at the top of it. They're involved in it to their knees deep into capitalism, which is a terribly destructive and wasteful way of living together.
Yeah, it's a crappy system, but I think it's better than the communism.
I agree with you, it's better than communism, but that's what the capitalists always keep going on, it's better than communism, right? I think some religions, like for example, I think that some religions are better than other religions, but no religion is any good. So when you accuse Christianity, you say maybe some parts of Christianity are maybe less problematic than some parts of Islam, let's say, right? If I want to say something like that. Yeah, but that's just, if I accuse the Muslims, or the Christians, or the Muslims, whatever it is, and say, look, they'll say, oh, we're better than that religion. But that's not the point. That's all part of the illusion that capitalists make out, as if there's only capitalism or communism, which is bullshit. Right? We are in a stage of technology where we can use technology to live together differently, right? But we're not allowed to by the people who've got all the power and all the money.
Just your name, surname, and your profession.
Danny Shine. I'm a musician.
Danny Shine, you're a musician. We have our office in Camden Town, so we hear you regularly on Fridays. You are there near the bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, and I've seen you also, we're on the top of the Parliament Hill.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was very good, that one.
Yeah. It was a COVID declaration with the 15 points and all those things. Danny Shine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Nice to meet you.
So,
do you live in the UK?
We have a bureau in Camden Town, but
you personally live in the UK?
Yeah.
¿Qué televisión es?
It's a Mexican television.
Yeah, ¿cuál?
Yeah. It's a national Mexico, and
Government?
we broadcast in the USA as well.
Is government or is private?
It's a private, but it's on stock exchange, so it's many owners. It has one big shareholder, but then other.
¿Quién es?
Huh?
Who's the big shareholder?
The shareholder, the main guy is. ¿Quién ahora tiene la?
¿Son contra Obrador o por Obrador?
I think it's more contra Obrador.
Against, okay.
Obrador is calling this channel Prensa Fifi.
Contra revolucionario. Prensa del cartel.
It's like not a real press. It's like like Trump fake press.
All right, okay.
Fake media. So the populists on
Is
the
he right?
left are
Is
very
he right?
similar to the populists on the right.
To call it fake media. The minute they say that's fake media.
Because it's critical. If it's critical, then it's fake. But no one is perfect.
No.
BBC is not perfect. ITV
not perfect.
is not perfect.
Come on.
BBC is perfect.
Of course it is, like the Queen. God save the King.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Danny.
When they cluster, have another bang. Yeah, they are all clustered, look at that. Perfect.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to warn you that you are going to experience an anti-climax. When you get to the end of the queue, all you're going to end up seeing is a box with a flag on it, and you're going to be disappointed. I'm just warning you, you're going to be very, very disappointed when you realise that actually what you've done didn't really make any sense, and you could have watched it all on TV.
Boo! God save the King!
God save the King. Come on, everybody. Come on.
God save the King!
God save the King!
Come on, guys.
What's the matter with you?
What's the matter with you? Please, after me. God save the King. Hooray.
That works. There's a play on that. The response is always the same. So you can work on that. Their response is always the same. So you play on that. You do it. I can't take it. Or
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Unfortunately, I don't know if you've heard this whilst you've been in the queue, the Tooth Fairy has died. The Tooth Fairy died today, this day, the 18th of September. The Tooth Fairy died today. If you don't believe in the Tooth Fairy, please keep that to yourself. The Tooth Fairy did die today, but the good news is the Tooth King is going to replace the Tooth Fairy, and your children's £1 is now safe when they lose their milk teeth. I know £1's a bit mean considering that the Tooth King is worth trillions of pounds, but it's better than nothing, isn't it, guys?
God save Santa Claus, Christmas is not the way, is it? You don't want to listen to dying. There's echo in here. God save Benny Hill music. Now it's getting easy.
wonder what they're standing there talking all. You wonder what they're
Why
saying.
are you here, guys? What has Elizabeth actually done for you? You over there. What has Elizabeth done for you? Okay, giving me the finger there. A bit of a difficult question, I know, when you probably realise that she's done nothing at all for you.
She united us in grief.
God save Ronald McDonald. I want a burger with that cream in.
God save the king. Forget the peasants. Who cares about the peasants? Save the king, God.
Hello.
Sorry, my English is not that good.
Okay.
I completely share your point of view. I just understand my colleagues who I think are really stressed because we just went there to have a nice view on Westminster. And he started the live in Arabic in 1 minute, I think. And my colleagues
She
25
needs silence.
minutes
She needs silence.
in Italian.
Okay.
Alan,
And
just
the
wave when
problem-
you're done. Wave when you're done.
Yeah, the only thing is when you're talking, we
Yeah, no, I
can't
get
hear
that.
Wave
anything.
when you're
The
done.
rest
I'll
of
stop
the
for a bit.
time,
Wave
no
when you're
Yeah,
done.
no problem.
Just
No problem.
start. Wave when you're starting. Wave when you're done, and then we'll start again.
That's really, really nice. Thank you. And thanks for what you do also. It's important.
What's your country? What kind of accent? Bonjour.
It's nice when they're all clustered like that. It is because the response was exactly the same. That's interesting. But exactly the same response. So there's got to be a way of fighting and jumping through like that. To preempting it. What you want something to do or something to out. That's everything just before they do you. What do you make of it all?
Sorry?
What do you make of it all?
What am I making?
Are you queuing up?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Can I ask you something? Where are you from? Am I asking?
We live in Bourne, in Lincolnshire.
Where do you live?
In Bourne, in Lincolnshire.
Oh, in Lincolnshire.
Yes, but we're from Poland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so no, we not came, but we just came for all of this, visit some
Just to watch.
museums and of course
okay.
for
Museums at a time
Yeah, of
like
course.
that's not respectful.
But we will be here tomorrow, of course.
Are you here as well?
Yes, of
Oh.
course. So
What are you gonna do
that
then?
was the second reason.
Where are you going to go there?
To home.
No, tomorrow. Where are you going to go?
We don't know. We actually we don't. Maybe we'll be in the mall. Maybe we'll be somewhere in the Westminster. So we have no idea.
Why are you going to be there?
Why? To see everything.
Why?
It's important for
Why?
British.
Why?
Why? Because we want to see and we want to be a part of this funeral.
Why?
Because we have respect for British people.
Why?
Because we
Why
live
is that?
here.
Yeah, but why do you have respect for
Why for the Queen?
for Elizabeth Windsor? Why do you have respect for her?
Because we live in England.
So what?
Because we feel like citizens of Britain.
Yeah, but why do you have respect for her? What has she done? What has she done?
She did nothing wrong for us. So why we?
Right, she's done nothing
Yes,
wrong to
she-
you.
Yes.
Yeah, but would
so
you go to my mother's funeral? She also didn't do anything wrong.
Of
to
course we can.
you. Yes, you would.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
why?
I'll let you
Why
know.
not? Of course.
It's a bit late now. My dad.
Do you want?
It's a dad.
You want my phone number? That's not a problem.
I'd expect you here from Lincolnshire.
Of course, you can find us in there.
We'll find you. We'll find you. No problem. We got networks.
Is there any major figures you don't respect in London? Is there any
Sorry?
major figures that you don't respect?
I
Is
don't.
there anybody who's in the media like who?
Why not? No, why not?
And
No,
in Poland,
no,
in
no,
Poland,
we
do you
respect
respect?
Some
everyone.
people dislike
respect-
certain
We
people
are
that's in the.
we are
you see what I'm saying?
we.
What
we
about
are
the Pope?
guests.
You like
we
the
are
Pope?
guests in England, so
Right.
why I shouldn't have respect for
What about the
someone.
Pope? What about the Pope?
Sorry,
Do you respect the Pope?
Pope. Actually, we are Christians, but we not faithfully.
You're not.
No.
When he
not
dies,
really.
you're going to go to Vatican?
No. We was in Vatican, of course.
Okay.
We was in Rome a few years ago in
Okay.
2019. So yeah, that was a great time. To
But I
visit,
mean,
of
isn't
course,
the Pope a higher authority than the Queen? I mean, the Queen says the Queen is the Queen because she's God's representative on earth. Because she
British-
broke from the Pope.
For British people, that's a. Of course, the Queen is a Queen, yes, but maybe not for us. The same like for the British people. Yes, but for me, the Pope is. If I can compare.
Is he dodgy? Is he dodgy?
Yes, he is.
Is it?
Yes, he is. Yes, of course.
But what about King Charles? Do you think he's dodgy?
No, what?
Some people think he's dodgy.
Yeah, there's a lot of dodgy people out in this world now.
Okay, thanks very much.
There's a lot of weird people, of course. But no, like for me, everyone is on the same stage. So why not? And you are here for what? If I can ask
We're
you.
making a video just questioning what's going on. No, asking what's going on and why. Why would someone queue for 12 hours
Yeah, that's
to go to a box?
Yes, that's true. But if they feel something, they,
Yeah, but you still can ask them why.
Yeah.
Fine, I understand that. But
Yeah, you can
say
you
why.
can ask those
but if
questions
you ask them why,
all over again.
but if you ask them why, like they
They
shout
wanna
at you. They shout at you.
Really?
Yeah, they go, oh,
Really?
fuck off.
No way.
Yeah. He's been doing it. Every time you ask them, they shout at him.
We can't understand.
I don't mind if they go
why
there.
They wait. Yes, of course.
But I think you got a right to ask them. You've been in there 12 hours. Why?
We just want to see.
And they can't say. They can't tell you.
Everything was that's actually the historical moment.
Well, everything's a historical moment.
It is, but not like this time.
Well,
Yeah, yes.
I mean, of course, someone dies who's officially the Queen of England. That's a historic moment. But so what?
Yes, but like for us.
People die every day.
Yes, I know, but not the kings and queens.
So what?
Yeah?
So why is she so important?
Because she was a queen.
But then, why is she the Queen?
Why? Because maybe.
I mean, it's the same with the
maybe
Pope,
that's why.
isn't it?
Because they.
Why is the Pope the Pope? Why is the Queen the Queen?
I will not say about this Pope because this Pope is like you said, he's dodgy. But our Pope, John Paul II,
Yeah.
he, in my opinion, he was the figure like a queen. He made a lot of people like the queen. Probably she made all of the presidents of the United States.
Okay, but he's supposed to be holy and godly and to represent the faith.
Yes.
The Queen is also supposed to represent the faith, but not many people take that seriously.
She representing your country.
No, she's the head of the church.
The monarchy. Yes.
She's the head of the church.
Yes. I don't know.
I understand what you're saying, but the complexity is the articulation. People are not actually able to articulate why they think this is so important. Other than, it's a historic moment, which is fine. I mean, I understand it's a historic moment, but that's it.
And that's why we are here, because for us, we think this is a historical moment, and no one else, for our friends, is in here. So I can say about.
But what is the historic? Is the historical moment the queuing?
No,
the funeral.
No, not.
What's the historic moment? The death?
Yes.
Yeah. The death's gone 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
And now the king is in power.
But everything will happen now.
Before you go, just answer the chase.
But what is the specific historical moment? Does it start and end when they say, or what is it?
No. It's a hard question. Maybe
it's pedantic, I know, but
maybe it's an easy question, but we feel it's a historical moment for England. Yes, for England, for us, because we live in here. So why not?
I just want to ask one question. Do you think the Queen is a man-made concept?
Of course it is. Thank you.
You don't want to. Hey, is that yours?
No, that's that lady's.
Oh shit! She'll come back.
I think we're winding up. I also think the battery's going down. Yes, the battery's going down. I don't want to get cut off. Actually, let me just try and check with Danny quickly. Did you leave your flask there, love? You left your flask.
Oh, no, it's me.
It's yours. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, it's Danny's.
Oh, it's Danny's.
Do you mind getting it?
Yeah. Keep an eye.
Oh, you're going to get it here. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice spot, Danny.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I firstly congratulate you for your fantastic queuing today. It's amazing to see you.
You did well, that's it.
You've done very, very well. I mean, I personally wouldn't be able to stand in the queue for 14 hours just to see an empty box. So I must say, a lot of respect for you all. It's amazing. Let's all together, come on, God save the King!
God save the King!
God save the King!
God save the King!
Long may he reign over us!
Long may he reign over us!
Long may he reign over you, actually, rather than me, to be honest. But go on. Hands up if you like being reigned over. Oh, good news, because you're going to be reigned over whether you like it or not, so you might as well like it, right? That's right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may experience an anticlimax when you get to this end of the queue and you realise what you've done. But you've queued very, very nicely. You need to give yourself a big tap on the back. Well done for queuing so nicely. Long live the King!
Long live the King!
Long live the King! The King is our master!
King is our master!
We will do what we're told and pay our taxes! Come on, guys! If you don't pay your taxes, nobody is. Certainly the King's not going to be paying any inheritance tax, is he? And why should he? He's the King, after all. That's right. Not like you lot. You're the peasants. You pay the taxes. That's right. Long live the King, madam. Please, come on, join in. I can't hear you. You need to get yourself a megaphone, dear. I can't hear you. To be honest with you, I'm not really that bothered that I can't hear you, to be honest. Probably isn't worth hearing, but if you want to shout,
show
some respect. I am. God save the King. You show respect, madam. Come on, join in. God save the King.
God save the King.
Hip hip hooray. Come on. Well done for queuing, everybody. Please give yourself a big round of applause for queuing so very beautifully.
That's why they can't shout. They're too tired.
Personally, I wouldn't be able to have the stamina to queue for 14 hours to see an empty box, but, you know, whatever. Respect to you guys. The British are so great at queuing. You're such a great example of how to queue, ladies and gentlemen, even for strange things like what you're queuing for. What exactly are you expecting to happen? So, can you answer me? What are you doing here? Why are you here? Because your wife chucked you out. Fair enough. Suppose it's something to do if your wife chucked you out. Just join the queue and pretend you're really, you know, you're really patriotic. But actually, your wife chucked you out. Fair enough. Well done for all your great queuing, everybody. Give yourself a round of applause.
Hey!
Beautiful. Long live the King!
Long live the King!
Now, I mean, the reason why, by the way, long live the King is because you imagine if the King was to die now, then we'd have all this again for days on end. Then where will we be? My question for you is, if your 96-year-old mother was to die, and you knew that thousands of doctors and nurses would go to her funeral, even though they didn't know her, and they could have watched it on Zoom, would you say anything about it, sir? Would you intervene? No? You wouldn't? It's not very nice of you. What, you'd let all those people die and suffer in the queues, you know, that have all their operations cancelled, so they could go and see your mum's funeral even though they didn't know her? Really? That's a bit weird. By the way, just to let you know, our King has inherited, with his brothers and sister, £672 million that we know of, besides the stuff, you know, that's under the floorboards. Yeah? But the fact is he doesn't have to pay inheritance tax. You know why? Because he's the King and you're not, sir. You have to pay inheritance tax. Hooray! Cheer if you like paying inheritance tax.
Cheer!
Come on, hip hip hooray! Long live the King! Guys, come on. You've been queuing all this time, you might as well put some effort into it. Well done for your queuing. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give yourself a round of applause for standing up for hours and hours on end and not exactly sure what you're expecting. That's right.
Whee!
I must warn you, dear, you may experience an anticlimax when you get to the end. You know that. Yes. Just warning you, don't get your expectations too high. Nothing's actually going to happen when you get there. Sorry about that. It's all been hyped up in the media. You know, that's probably why you're here, isn't it? You over there. Yes. That's right. I'm influenced by the media as well, absolutely, you're right. I know, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the media. I wouldn't even know anything was going on if it wasn't for them. You're absolutely right, I know. Yes, although I don't watch mainstream media very much. I can't hear you. What was that? You need to get yourself a megaphone, dear. You'd be quite good at this. The question I have for these people in the media is, what exactly is your job? Is your job to question what's going on? Or is your job just to keep the whole narrative going? Do you know what I mean? Don't ask any difficult questions like, how come one person gets to rule over us just because they were born out of one particular womb? Do you know what I mean? You don't want to be asking those dodgy questions, especially not at this time. Not very nice, you know, just shh. Or, why doesn't the royal family pay inheritance tax? You shouldn't be asking that at this time. Just you know, do the right thing. And we shouldn't be asking why the NHS is shutting itself down for a day, or whether the NHS is cancelling appointments and procedures. Yes, it's cancelling appointments and procedures. There are doctors going tomorrow to this whole thing when they could watch it on Zoom. Don't ask any difficult questions, do you? Because you're the media. Your job is to keep the whole charade going, isn't it, you guys? It's all a show, isn't it? This is all a show. You're going to watch a show, aren't you, you guys?
It's a good show.
You don't want to miss out on the old show, do you?
It's a good show. Well done. Lovely.
Am I enjoying it?
Good show.
I'm enjoying watching you. That's right, you're right. It's fun watching you. I'm wondering what on earth you're doing. Madam, what are you doing here? Why are you here? It's not obvious why you're here. I don't know why you're here. I know what you're here for, but I don't know why. Why are you here? Boo! Boo! Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to heckle me, even if it's a little bit childish with a boo.
Down with free speech.
What am I doing? I'm asking you questions what you're doing. What on earth are you doing here?
We're with lots of people.
You are with lots of people, that's true, but just because lots of people do something, does it make it sane?
I'm not sane.
And this is sane? No, I didn't say this is sane, but I'm asking you, what are you doing here? You haven't told me. What are you doing here? You said you're with lots of people, and why are you here?
Paying her respects, she said.
But I'm hungry.
Lots of things, but you're hungry. Yes, that's what I used to say when I didn't know the answer in school.
Respects.
Yes, I know the answers, dear, but I'm hungry. I must go to lunch. I mean, seriously, what are you doing here? You're here with all these people, and you don't even know why. Why?
We were in lockdown.
You were in lockdown?
We were in lockdown.
Yes, you were in lockdown. Yes. What?
And we are together.
You're together now.
Yeah, we're together. Celebrating someone.
You're celebrating someone who? I'm just repeating what you're saying, yes.
Who worked hard.
Who worked hard?
For decades.
For decades. How did she help you, personally?
I'm not very good at it.
You're not very good.
I'm not. I've got it up.
You do know. You know how she helped you, you're just not sure how you can express it. Not she helped you? Well, okay. Who has she helped then? Anybody here, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to talk to anybody here that was helped by Elizabeth Windsor. Anybody here, please hands up if you were helped by Elizabeth Windsor. That's true. I mean, maybe I have been helped and I just don't know it.
I think this is going to die. Nah, it's ambulance.
Let's celebrate we don't live in a country where this isn't allowed.
Can you tell me why you're here? Because you're very negative. Why are you here?
Why am I here?
Yeah.
To question.
I've got like some hope that we live in this country.
Yes.
We could be somewhere else.
Yes.
And I just think it's a positive thing. Why are you here? You tell me why you're here. What are you against?
Yes, so you asked me why I'm here. I am here to question what you're doing here. That's what I'm here to do.
What's it your job to do?
What's in my job? That's my job. What's in my job? What job do you have?
That's what
This
he's
is my
saying.
job. This is what I do. I question what people are doing. I question the mainstream. Yes, it is a job. It's a job. What do you mean my job? That's my job. Are you questioning my job? Yes, that's my job. My job is to question what people like you are doing. What on earth are you doing here? You still haven't told me. You said you're here because of lockdown. You're in lockdown, and then what? And you're here with your friends. But why are you queuing up to see what? What are you expecting to happen?
It's history.
Oh, it's history? Oh.
What are you doing? What do you do with your life?
This is what I do with my life. This is my life right now. What I do is I question what's going on.
Guys, you're blocking the basement. If you can just make your way, that would be great, sir. I understand you're in a public area with a respect. Yeah, how you doing? Just
The lady said, because of lockdown, just want to say something quickly about that. I mean, the funny thing is that only There's just one question I wanted to ask, and that is, it was really sad because the lady asked a question a minute ago about lockdown. It's very unfortunate that when the Queen was forced to attend the funeral of her husband, she had to sit there alone in silence with a mask on at the funeral of Prince Philip. And I was terribly sad about that. At that time, there were 47,000 cases of COVID, symptomatic COVID in Britain. Today, when all of you are queuing up and everyone's gathering together, there are 1 million symptomatic COVID cases. So all I'm asking is, why did the Queen have to suffer because Boris Johnson ordered her to sit alone in the church when the funeral happened, and all of a sudden, when there's 33 times as many symptomatic cases as there were when she was forced to sit alone in that church, why are we now being told that everyone should queue up and gather together when there's 1 million symptomatic cases? I can't understand it. And I think that partly what killed the Queen is the sadness she experienced from having to bury her husband in that church, sitting on her own with a mask on, because of policies imposed by an idiotic government that locked us all down for no bloody reason whatsoever.
Excuse me. Grab a word with you quickly before you hurry on.
Okay,
it's not the place for this. It's not the place for this.
To say, we were told by police earlier it was absolutely fine for us to stand here.
That's fine. We'll have some
Just
complaints.
turn that off.
Want to...
I'm finishing now anyway.
I just want to speak to you first.
Right this second.
So,
okay, go on.
What sort of things have you been saying?
I've just said a couple of things a few
Are you all
seconds ago.
together?
What did I say? I said the Queen was in at the funeral of her husband with a mask on when there were 46,000 symptomatic COVID cases. There are 1 million symptomatic COVID cases according to the ONS today, and yet everyone's gathered together. You're not even wearing a mask in front of me. You're within a meter's distance of me. So I can't understand it.
Okay, well it's within government guidelines, isn't it, at the moment?
The government guidelines might be wrong, mightn't they? Then we're certainly wrong at that time.
Maybe, but we've got
I'm going to have to
advice,
turn off now.
So that's
yeah, I think the advice is wrong. Never mind.
I know, and everyone's got their opinion, and whatever my opinion is, whatever yours is, they may be completely
Are you going to
different.
book me?
No, I'm not going to ask you your name.
Right, my
So
name.
whoever I'm speaking to, please.
Okay, I'm going to shut this down because the channel is the power's
Does he need
dying.
to give you his name?
I don't need to give my name.
Under what?
Section 50 of the Police Reform Act.
You're not really involved.